Hello and welcome to Offline TV podcast at TwitchCon 2018, where they talk about how they make money on Twitch, sponsors, merchandise, and how to become a streamer.
Easy transition to how to make money. So I figured it's probably something that a lot of people are interested in and something that they probably don't get to learn much about when it comes to streaming. So how to make that income, how everything works, and maybe what to expect if you're interested in becoming a streamer. So really quick overview. Usually a streamer will make money primarily via Twitch. So subscriptions, ad revenue, and donations, which are kind of not super through Twitch. And then sponsorships. I think that's the main thing.
If only there was a video on YouTube that
Oh,
explains
yes.
all of this.
Please, youtube.com/isitdisguisedtoast HS.
But yes.
He made a really, really good video on that. And speaking of that video, I was really surprised how in-depth Toast got because most streamers really won't go that in-depth into how much they make. So, I mean, you guys, how comfortable are you talking about these things? And if you're not really comfortable, why is that?
You want my ad revenue for the month?
Yes, please.
My tax
Actually-
information.
I'm actually broke as fuck.
I'm
Yeah.
kidding, I don't file taxes.
Fed is not broke as fuck, okay?
So when it comes to things we can and can't say, it's usually contract bound. Like we can't talk shit about games we get sponsored to play. Obviously, because it's like, hey, here's $5,000 per hour, and you just go, insulting the game. That's kind of BM.
A little bit.
But also like the amount. So specifically, we're not supposed to talk about like how much we're getting paid. We can talk about generalities, like how much we usually get paid, but companies generally don't like it when we talk about specifics, and that's the stuff we actually cannot talk about.
Wait, really? Oh.
Yeah.
It's in the contract.
What do you
Right,
like?
Yeah.
that's not my dashboard.
And then other stuff is more like personal discretion. It's like, oh, by the way, I make 50 million a year, and I'm just walking around with a giant pocket full of cash. Like, you don't want people knowing that, right? So it's really up to the individual of what they're comfortable with at that point.
What about you guys, Fed, Lily, Scar? You guys comfortable talking about that stuff, or is it a little difficult?
I think this is unfair because you guys okay, so usually we go in order, right? And you guys started first, and you guys outlined how people make money, and then you keep saying, so, Lily, Scar, are you guys comfortable sharing how much you make?
Okay,
And so we
just
can no longer talk
discussing.
about the outline. It's like, oh yeah, but how much do you make really? You know?
I feel cornered.
Specifically.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I make a decent amount. Okay,
What's
I-
your-
I-
You
mean-
don't have to say. What I'm mostly touching on is just the fact that it can be such a difficult conversation to have. You always see those headlines that are like, this streamer makes a bazillion a month. And I've personally even been approached by companies or websites that are like, can you talk about how much you make? Can you specify that you make X amount a year? Can you say this? Can you say that? And it's like, I don't want to be just like your little quote in the article, you know?
I think the only person that ever came out to specifically say that was Cutie. Because during that, the really big article that everyone always quotes, it's like he said he made more than $2 million a year. And people were just like, holy shit, dude, he's fucking rich. And rather than losing donations, I think he actually gained donations. People just kept throwing money at them. I guess the thing I want to talk about is I'm different than most of the streamers. Okay, that sounds
Yeah.
really pretentious.
No.
What makes you so
No,
special,
he's
Sarah?
No.
Oh,
I can actually confirm this.
It's true.
He's a weird streamer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So usually what ends up happening is the portion that people have of donations and subscribers are much more or greater than the ad revenue they get. So if you watch his YouTube video that breaks down how much people make, it's completely false for me. And the reason is because I don't have donation alerts. Due to personal reasons of my own, I probably will never have donation alerts.
Oh my god.
And
dude,
because of that,
give
I
it up.
lose a shitload of money. In fact, Fed spends literally every week trying to convince me to turn it on. Every week. Every
Please,
week.
turn it on,
and
bro.
I'm throwing away easily over 50 grand a year because I don't do it. But for me, ad revenue is probably 90% of my overall income. If we're discounting sponsorships, ad revenue is 80 to 90% for me.
That's
And that's
crazy.
really, really different than these guys. who
It's
are
like the opposite for all other streamers. Your ad rev will be maybe 10, 20% of how much
I think
you make,
there was a
generally
leaked
speaking.
screenshot of Forsen making $30,000 a month on donations alone. I saw that screenshot. I added the overall donations I have gotten over the past 5 years did not equal to half that amount. over the course of 3.5 years, I had streamed before that screenshot came live. Because I looked specifically, I was just like, oh shit. So I guess the donations I get are a lot less. So like for me, my income is really weird. And a lot of streamers out there don't play ads because there's a fear that like if you play ads, you lose people when you play ads, and that's somewhat true to some extent.
No ads.
And then there's people in the league scene who are very popular for playing ads, right? Cutie,
Cutie.
hit that ad button, baby. Like he's famous for it. He does it. His viewers love it, and he makes a lot of money from both donations, subscribers, and ads. And so like I would say for streamers, everyone has a different kind of revenue breakdown. But please do watch Toast's video. It does cover the overall general basis. Am I just pimping out your YouTube video? That's
Yeah,
fucked up. Do I get royalties for this?
5% every one of us.
All right, Lily, how much do you make?
Specifically.
Specifically.
Wait, you want me to tell
No,
you
no,
how
no.
much
All
I
right,
make?
all right.
I feel very uncomfortable right now.
What do you look for in a sponsor then?
The best thing would be a game I like
Okay.
and getting paid for it. That's like win-win.
Have you ever been sponsored to play a game you hated?
Not hated per
Dislike.
se, but I didn't have much strong feeling for it.
Dude, it's happened to all of us, Lily. Like,
Yeah, I know. I just
Yeah, like we get sponsored to play a game for 3 hours, and 30 minutes in, you're like, shit, this is not worth it.
You're checking the clock every 2 minutes.
Yeah, and the second it hits like the 3-hour mark, well, time to take a break.
I have a funny sponsorship story. So a long time ago, me and Pokey almost got sponsored to do a game, and I'm not gonna say what game it is, but we got sponsored together, and then like the communication wasn't clear, so Pokey couldn't do the deliverables, and because of that, we had to drop the sponsorship. And I find out because I get chased by another huge content creator. Their manager DMs me 6 months later, and they're like, "Have you gotten paid from this company?" And I'm like, "No, dude, I didn't do the sponsorship." And it's like, "Well, they didn't pay anyone that worked on it."
Yeah,
like-
I remember
Oh
that
my God.
specifically.
And literally, he's like, "I'm gonna take." The person who was the manager was like, "I'm gonna take them to court. Like, this is bullshit." And like, there's like horror stories out there of like, especially in the early years, sponsorships not paying. The first sponsor I ever took was for a website that doesn't exist. They're paying me $500 a month, and I was like, $500 a month, sick, dude. I'm making so much bank. So I did it for 3 months. They didn't pay me. And then they switched websites to another website, and they're still in the scene now. And so the last time I met them at the event,
Out
they're like,
them, expose them, expose them.
Drop some names.
the next time I met them at the event, they're like, "Oh, like we're part of this company, and like, hey, what's up? Like, we're big fans." And I looked at them, and I was like, "You used to sponsor me 2 years ago, and you never paid me." And it was like a passing in the hallway. I stopped, they stopped. They looked at me, and then they kept moving. And I never talked to them again about it. It was just like a really, it happens sometimes. It happened a lot more back then. Nowadays, everyone has like reps that will chase money, like the money doesn't go missing. But back then, like Wild Wild West, shit happens.
I remember that specific game because it was like the trollest thing ever. It was like, imagine dragons on boats in space. Like that was the concept for the game. And I didn't end up following through with the full sponsorship, but I still played with that streamer that he was talking about, just so that he could like finish his video and get the content out because I promised to do that. And then they also DM'd me or that person's manager, and they're like, "Have you guys gotten paid? Because we haven't." And it was pretty freaky. And my first sponsor, I think that I took monthly, was also around like 200, like 500 a month, and I was like, "This is the most incredible thing ever! Like, I just have to put the image up, and I make money." And I was still in university at the time, and I remember it was my exam day. Like, I had a calc exam at 2 p.m. and they wanted me to like sign the contract by noon. And so I was like running to my library, faxing the paper, signing it, scanning it in my library. I'm about to make that bank, that coin. But yeah, it's crazy to think that like you start at like 200, 500, and then nowadays we're like making 10 times that amount from the same type of sponsors. And we're really, really lucky, and I'm personally very grateful to be able to do this, especially when it comes to those really good sponsors where you can play a game that's really fun and introduce it to your audience and enjoy doing it and have that be your job.
It's
It
like
feels
winning
very
the
surreal.
lottery. like finding a good game that you
Yeah.
like, getting paid for it.
Like Maple Story.
I was just gonna
2.
say Maple Story. Oh my god. Me and Fed were like actually
are-
spamming that game off stream. It
I was like, are you
like-
guys still,
Oh yeah.
are you guys still
yeah.
sponsored? I'm just curious.
I'm
like-
not still sponsored,
No.
but I
Maybe.
still like it.
But it's still good.
I mean,
I played it in closed beta.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm sure all of us have like the really good sponsorship stuff. Like I got sponsored by Magic the Gathering on
Oh,
live.
it's like yeah, the card
And
game.
then they're like, hey, you need to stream X amount of hours in the next 4 days. I did that in 1 day, and then I then started spending money in the game instantly after, and I was like, oh shit, they hooked me. Whoops.
Yeah, I spent like 3K on Maple Story 1. I'm very fortunate I didn't spend that much this time around. Thanks, guys. At least I'm sponsored by them. But I do have a funny story. I mean, I can't really talk about money. I'm pretty bad with money. But anyways, so for the longest time, you know how like sponsors reach out to you through your email?
Sorry, go on.
Well, so PressX, the company that's represented by us, or sorry, what's it called? EI?
UTA.
Was bought by UTA, so the email was changed. So my email was supposed to be something else, and I didn't realize for like the longest time. I'm like, damn, everyone's getting sponsors. Why is no one giving me sponsors? Am I not sponsor friendly? I gotta stop swearing. Okay, I'm gonna stop swearing. All right, I'm gonna stop doing some controversial stuff. I'm just gonna chill. All right, so I try and stop swearing like so bad, and like I don't know what's going on. I'm not getting sponsors. So yeah, my email was wrong for like for like 3 months. So it wasn't until Iman actually was like, your email is wrong. So the day I change it, Hannah messaged me, my manager. She's like, okay, you got this deal, you got this deal. What's going on? Did you change or something? I'm like, no, I just changed my emails for like the longest time. I didn't have, oh God.
It was really funny because like I got to see him go through this phase of like, oh my god, I'm not getting sponsors. Like I need to be more brand friendly. And he's like, I see him do all these initiatives on stream. Sorry guys, like I'm not swearing anymore. He's like trying to be careful about what he does or what he doesn't do. And I checked his Twitter one day and I was like, that email's not right.
No, but when it comes to streaming, money in streaming, I mean, I think, on top of what you mentioned in your video, did you mention merch at all?
Oh, I have zero experience with merch. If only, can someone here talk about how merch works and how much money they can make off merch?
If only
Huh?
there was someone who was widely
Do
successful.
you guys actually want me to talk about that?
No, I mean just other. It's
Yeah.
really cool that there's like as a
The
person in our
exact
position,
amount.
as a person in our position, there's a lot of avenues to like generate other
Yes.
forms of income. And
And I
it's really
think it's
cool.
very important to diversify, not only be mostly getting income through ads or mostly getting income through subs or donations or this and that. You want to be able to have as many streams of income as possible, and merch is definitely it's a good one.
Merch is great. Like Reckl's making his own game,
Offline TV.
and then
/merch.
wait, what's your
Sorry, what?
problem?
I didn't do anything. What?
What's up?
Keep going.
Yeah,
That's it.
Lily, what are your other?
I
forms
feel
of
like
income?
merch is like this whole other topic you can talk endlessly about, depending on what kind of manufacturer you want, what kind of cut they're looking for.
The margins,
Like,
everything matters.
there's so many variables. It's not just like, here, I'm going to put this shirt on and now I'm going to sell it and I'm going to make lots of money.
Yep.
Like, designer has a cut.
Really? Because when I look in the crowd, I see a lot of Lily Pichu merch.
So that, not all, obviously, it's from Design by Humans, right? So not all of it goes to me. And I give a cut to Pekka, who also manages my merch as well. So it's like all divided up in the end. But I don't. What am I supposed to say?
You've said enough, Lily.
Okay.
It is a complicated topic, but personally speaking, it was something that I actually like fell in love with. Like I love the creative process of figuring out a design that I really like, getting like the cut right, the fabric that I like, and working with a company that I really enjoy. So at the end of the day, I never want you guys to feel like anything that we do is just for money. I think we're just people that are really lucky to be able to make money off of the projects that we take on or the streams that we do. I mean, at least speaking for myself, at the end of the day, it's all stuff that I really enjoy. So I think that's what's important to keep in mind.
Yeah, that's why my merch is taking forever, because I want to make sure it's perfect,
Yeah.
right?
Oh.
Right?
A lot of us like spend weeks getting designs, getting samples, sending it back, sending notes, etc. Like this hoodie, for example, took me months to finalize because there were so many things. Like I want my fans to like what I sell, right? I'm sorry if my voice is shaking. I'm kind of nervous. But yeah.
All right. I wanted to talk some more about some sponsors